Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday it is. Happy Sunday. Today is April the 26th. 26th. No, 2026.
Yeah, 2026.
The last Sunday of the month. The last Sunday of the month. And um this time it's going by so fast, I
It
must
is. I
say.
feel like this year is going by really fast. Oh,
Right? Right, it
yes.
has, right? It's gone by pretty quick. I must say so myself. How are you doing today, Plum?
I'm doing okay. No complaints. I'm doing okay. That's what I forgot to get for you guys. We had mentioned it last week about the diabetic thing, the little chart.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
that's
I have
right.
it. I'll put what I can do is I could try to I can post the link. I can get the link and post it in the chat
Okay.
for anybody that's interested.
Okay. I'm sure there are some
Yeah, I
that
can do that.
inquiring. That was about the pre-diabetic,
Yeah, so
diabetic,
it gives
right?
you the glycemic numbers on each item that you may eat, so you can see how it affects your blood sugar, what foods to avoid. It gave
Right.
some recipes and stuff like that. But I used it mainly for the glycemic index numbers.
Mm-hmm. And you seen a difference?
I was able to, yeah, because I was monitoring my blood sugar. I don't know if you can still hear my children. Hopefully it's a little faded. Um, but yeah, I definitely seen a difference.
You see a difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I know some were inquiring about that, so that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Able to share that
absolutely. Yeah.
information. Okay. But how are you feeling today?
I'm okay, no complaints. Another day above ground, so that's always a blessing.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
Somebody
true.
didn't make it. Somebody didn't make that roll call this morning, so I'm thankful.
Me too. Me too. And, when you think about it like that, it makes you not want to complain less.
Yeah, when you think about certain things, even just in the midst of complaining about something, it's somebody that is currently praying to get to where you are of what you may be complaining about. Your car may not be working the best, but somebody's walking
Somebody's
or whatever.
walking.
Yeah, so so it's always a reason to be able to. I mean, but we're all human, we're always going to have something to have strife about, I guess you could say, but you just can't let
Yeah,
it overwhelm you. Yeah.
right. That's
Hi,
true.
Miss
You can't.
Barbara. Thank you so much for coming on and viewing with
Thank
us.
you,
She said, "Good
Barbara, for
evening,
joining
ladies. I love."
us.
She said, "I love spending my Sundays with you. Love and blessings
Oh,
to you and all of the viewers. Thank you so much."
we love that. We love spending it with you too.
Yes,
Absolutely,
yes, yes.
Barbara. Absolutely. Barbara is one wonderful businesswoman. I enjoy working with her. She is definitely a blessing. She's fun. She's a blessing, all in one package.
Yes,
So thank you
absolutely.
so much for joining us. For some reason, I don't see the chats. Am I missing something? The chats are not.
I see the
Um,
chat on the side. Well, the
it's not.
chat that I just read.
Yeah, the chats are not showing up on
I
my
just clicked
end.
show. Is this showing up? Do you see it now? I just put
I see
show.
it, but it's for some reason it's not showing up on my end.
Oh,
Don't know why.
okay.
Maybe to kick in. Um,
Okay.
it's saying something about connection, so I don't know.
Okay.
When you wake up on the wrong, have you ever woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Be like, oh,
I think we all have experienced that. What I try my best to do is I try to regroup because I know it's nothing but a devil. So
you think that's because I sure don't feel devilish. I just feel
no, I
tired.
no, not necessarily devilish, but I feel like when you're waking up and like, okay, I'll give you an example. You ever woke up and you may trip on a shoe that you left there and it's your fault, but the smallest things tick you off. That's to me, that's me waking up on the wrong side of the bed, and then I have to stop in that moment and say, Father God, I surrender my day and
I
I surrender
surrendered
my
my
mind
day,
and my thoughts.
my
And
mind, and my
whatever is bothering me, I ask that you take it away in the mighty name of Jesus. And I kind of like just sit there for like a couple minutes and hopefully, regroup. Now, have I had to say that more than one time in one day? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it does help to recenter and to identify it. Because sometimes
Yeah.
waking up on the wrong side of the bed, you may, have an attitude with somebody that you don't necessarily normally have an attitude with, and sometimes going back to say, you know what, it wasn't you, it was me. I just having a
Right.
bad day. So,
Yeah.
but we all
Yeah.
have it.
Like we all have it, and it doesn't happen often. I think just this past week it just was an overload and just
Hmm.
working and just nonstop, and I think it's just catching up with me. You
Yeah,
know,
I
at some point you
understand.
have to say, "Okay, body, I hear you. I need to take a
Yeah,
break." You know.
absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
Uncle Arneve,
Hello, hello,
thank you so
hello.
much for joining. He said you
Thanks
have to
for
have the attitude of gratitude, girlfriends. Absolutely. Being
yes.
thankful above all, but we're all human, so we all have some type of aspect of, thoughts that run through our
Yeah.
mind. And now you shouldn't feel bad about it. You just to be
No, I don't feel
overall more
bad. I feel
thankful.
tired. I guess
Yeah,
that's
no, no.
and I'm not very listen, it's not often that I'm tired. I work off a high frequency a lot. So I guess it's just one of the just caught up with me. That's all it is. But I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep on what I always say to you, Shakira, every day.
You use the phrase pushing through. I don't like I don't necessarily
Yeah,
like pushing through. I feel like
why?
I feel like when you say you're pushing through, it means like you're barely holding on and you're barely making it. I'm pushing through.
Not at
That's
all.
when I know that's not what you're saying, but I feel like when anybody ever says that, I feel like that's kind of like they're hanging on by the a thread. Like
Is
I'm
that what
pushing
you
through.
thinking? Wow.
Yeah. That's how I take it. I know you, so I know that's not what you're relaying. But I
No.
when I hear that phrase, that's what the first thing I say in my mind. I'm like, oh Lord, I hope they okay. If you call somebody and be like, well, I'm hanging in there. That
Well, hanging
sounds
in there is I'm
that's hanging
pushing
by it.
through.
To me, that sounds the same. I'm hanging. That means you struck. Like if you're
I
hanging,
ain't say
you don't.
I ain't say hanging because mom, that was her saying.
Yeah,
I'm
I
hanging
know,
in
but
there.
I'm saying that those type of phrases to me always it just puts me in a negative condensation of like I'm barely making it, or I'm trying to push through past something that's trying to hinder me. So that's
Yeah,
how I like look at it. But yeah.
right.
Um Uncle Hanif
Um,
said, peace and blessings. He also said, you still doing that, G, you better start listening to your body. I meant I came to your office. You was knocked out.
he always, okay, so let me just say this. Yes, that is so true. There's been many a nights, you're trying to meet a deadline, and instead of me just going home like everybody else, I end up staying until I get it done, and I find myself in the office, and it's the next day. Staff members coming in, and I still got the same clothes on that I had on the day before because I'm getting things done. So yeah, it has happened a few times, but
A
that has
few.
changed. Huh?
A few. Ah, we're gonna leave that right where that is, people. She said a few. Oh, that's hilarious.
But I
But
have changed
I
over
but
the years.
you definitely have, but I've learned from that I have and I have my moments where I'm on a computer a little bit later than I should, but I try to make it so that at 8 o'clock, if it ain't done, it'll get done tomorrow, and I'll just make a list for to do something tomorrow, because it's always going to be something to do. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? It's just always going to be something to do. So,
yeah, yeah,
Uncle Hanif say you're right. The power of tongue, yeah, the power of tongue is very, very powerful. So,
yes.
for me, I just trying to be mindful. He said, "Tell the truth and shame the devil." She said a
That's
few.
true.
I am rolling around on the floor. It's been times, I'll give you a little it's been times that I fell asleep on the couch that was in the way, in the lobby. And I wake up and the client is still there, and it wasn't a cat nap. I was probably asleep for a couple hours, and they still talking about, yeah, we almost done. So yeah.
Wait, you mean
It's
you mean
my adolescence, my young adult years, it wasn't just at, the Burlington location. It's been at several different ones that I could recall. But I know that
Yeah,
you've gotten, much better. And I think the advantage of working from home is be able to do things at your own leisure, but you have to make sure that you're still disconnecting.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah.
That's true.
Hmm.
It could be a lot, but I think that any entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about entrepreneurship too, and we're going to talk about a few bills and things that I think anyone who is an employee and a general contractor, stay tuned. You really, really need to hear what we're going to share. It's going to be enlightful because it's something that may be coming down the pipe that's going to be affecting all of us. And if it passes, so we're going to get into our topics. And I know we could be talking about the things that I've done for sleeping in the office and this whole bunch of stuff, but I don't do those things anymore, So
No.
that was my
Yeah.
younger version, and now, I'm not saying I'm slowing down, but I'm not. Well, I can't say I'm slowing down because some people say I'm still moving
Yes,
fast. But
I think you are. I just think you reposition how you do things to be more effective as far as like prioritizing yourself to a degree.
to a
But
degree.
yeah, to a degree. But yeah, I dot. Hey, I dot. You came in just in time.
Oh no! Don't y'all start
Miss
double teaming me.
Miss Barbara said when people say push it through, I feel a long story is coming after that. Yeah, when somebody says that, like, oh, I'm pushing through, they're about to tell you about why and what they're pushing through. So I get that. I definitely get that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
What? Maybe I need to change that up. I've been saying that for the last
You
few
have.
years,
Yeah.
um, and it just sounded like something that just fit me. But I don't want you to be feeling like you
No, no, no.
concerned or.
No. Because I know you would. I feel like you would tell me if something was absolutely pressing, but I just feel, that I'm barely making. I'm hanging
I ain't
on.
never say I'm barely making it, girl.
I know, but that's how I no, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, what I hear when somebody says pushing through. What I hear when somebody say, "Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm barely. I'm hanging on by." I take that as I'm hanging on by a thread. The hair
Oh
on
my
my chinny
lord!
chin chin. That's how I feel. I
I
mean,
did
but
not. I did not know you felt that way.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna
So.
change that up for sure because I do not want that to be the feeling that you have of me.
Well, no, I know. I like I said with you, I
But I
don't feel
said
that way
I'm
because I know that's
good. I said I'm good. I always say I'm good pushing through. I'm good pushing through. See, you didn't leave that part. You left that part out. And I'll say that first.
what we, oh Lord.
uh, alert. All right, we're going to send some shout outs to those who are celebrating a birthday today.
Yes,
Mama
yes,
said it
yes.
would like to say happy birthday to each and every one of you. One that comes to mind right now is First Lady Sheila Jenkins. We would like to say a happy birthday to her. She is celebrating this week. Anybody you want to send a shout out to Shakira for a birthday?
Happy birthday, everybody. I
Happy
can't
birthday.
think of the only person I can think of on top of my head, I believe it was her birthday is April 22nd, Jaleesa um Williams. Her last name was Lindsay, but she's married.
Oh,
Jaleesa.
yeah,
Yes. That's the one that sticks
absolutely.
out in my mind. April 22nd, if I can recall correctly.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
Happy birthday!
Anniversary. We would like to say happy anniversary to you, whether it's an anniversary for retirement, an anniversary for a wedding, whatever it is, we would like to say happy anniversary to you. So let's get into our topics because we have a lot to cover. We only have an hour to be in front of you all. And we want to say thank you so much for being with us. Please share. Sharing is caring. And we also want to take this opportunity to tell you how much we appreciate each and every one of you for supporting our platform. This is something that just came up with this actually was my daughter's idea to do a podcast. And we was brainstorming one day to try to figure out what the name of the podcast would be. We both were mommies. I'm her mommy and she's a mommy to her two sons and her bonus children as well. Shout out to Courtney and Sean J. And I felt as though that, and she was on me for about almost 2 years, right? To do the podcast.
Yeah, I wish
It was a little bit. But but I had to figure out, okay, how does podcast go? Now, my daughter, she was like, Mom, just get on here and let's just
I'd be like, Lord Jesus, let's just get on there and start talking. I feel like my mom has always been big into preparation, and I'm more of a, I want to say I don't fly by the seat of my pants, but I'm just, hey, let's get on. Like, that I don't need but I'm thankful because she is who she is, and that's what makes her amazing. And I am who I am,
You are
makes me amazing.
Well,
So I feel like it's a dynamic that works, but I'm more so like, my mom has to have the projections and all of this type of stuff. I just don't. I'm just a little
she
bit
wasn't
different.
for it. She's like, look, let's just get a camera. You use your cell phone and let's get busy.
Yeah, because if y'all been here since the beginning, y'all remember the technical difficulties. We had the lights up, and remember we was doing it together in the beginning. Remember?
Yeah, we were.
We were doing it at the same location.
Yeah.
And So, but we're here, and we're still here.
Yeah, we're able to do it and have people come on. No matter where they are around the world, they could be able to come on and join us. Absolutely.
Which is a blessing. Yes.
Absolutely. So one of the things I wanted to talk about first was, I don't know whether you heard about this, but there's a senior game that's going on and is really turning dangerous. It's called am I able to say this word? Assassin?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So there's so many words that you can and cannot say on these platforms. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
It's so sensitive to some things you can say, which is okay, and then other things you can't say. But anyway, it's a game, and we think that, I feel as though parents need to be aware of it. I don't know if you heard of it, Shakira. You don't have any seniors, but it's definitely something that's very, very popular. I don't know whether any of our co-hosts have ever heard of this.
You're not a senior?
You know what?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm here.
Yeah, I am a senior. Yes.
And I got my aunt Dot. My aunt Dot is a senior.
Yes, I'm a senior. But you know what the shocking part was, and we're going to continue with this topic. When I think I was about 45, I think I was 50, and I got an AARP card, and I called them up. I was so upset that I got an AARP card, but they sent it out
good benefits
years before. Years before, but now I'm proud to have my AARP card and get my little discounts and stuff. So thank you, AARP. But getting back to this game, this game is actually in my opinion, I think it's dangerous. I think it's a dangerous game that most people don't know about. And I want to share this information with you. So stay tuned while I show you this clip. Okay, why is it not? All right, here we go. Sorry.
It's a game played by high school seniors across America. It's called Senior Assassin. It involves hunting down classmates after school, shooting them with water guns, and posting videos like these.
No! JJ, no!
It's supposed to be just boisterous fun, but cops say it ended in disaster for this high school kid.
Anakin Robert Zering.
It's remarkable video. Anakin Robert Zering, in cap and gown, is awarded his high school diploma lying stricken in a hospital bed. It's a bittersweet moment for the 18-year-old.
Just keep staying prayers for our family.
He was shot in the back and left paralyzed after a Senior Assassins game.
It's parents' worst nightmare, what we're going through.
His distraught parents are now speaking out to Inside Edition.
I've cried almost every day ever since this is gone, because It's a tragedy to me. You know, my son may never walk again.
Anakin was playing senior assassin when he and his friends fired at a teenage girl with a water gun in a Walmart parking lot in Kansas. Prosecutors say the teenager's father freaked out and retaliated with a real gun, shooting Anakin in the back while the teenager was driving away.
That guy came up behind him and shot him through the back window.
47-year-old Ruben Contreras is now charged with first-degree attempted murder. His lawyer is claiming self-defense, saying vehicles were moving at him and at his loved ones, which by definition is a deadly weapon.
It could be a reasonable defense for the father, but I mean, he took a lot of other actions, in my opinion, that are going to be problematic and difficult for him to explain away. And now we have a young man whose life is forever changed.
Anakin is named after the Star Wars character Anakin Skywalker.
And someday I'm gonna fly away from this place.
Now he lies stricken in a hospital bed.
He has no feeling past his belly button.
That is crazy, right? When you think that this has happened.
Yeah, but it's definitely, I mean, kids think that everybody, this whole social media wave, people are only doing this because they want to go viral. Let's be clear. If they want to go viral, that's why they're taping it. That's why they're posting it, because they want to go viral. It's just unfortunate that you cannot be playing around with stuff like that and expect for no how was he supposed to know that it was a water gun? He don't you know, these water guns look real.
They look real
for the most part. So and then at the end of the day, you know, a lot like it's unfortunate about the young man. However, your actions have consequences, good and bad.
Yeah, they're playing with those water guns, and some of those water guns, some of them be painful when they shoot out because the pressure.
Yeah,
you know, it's definitely could be, as you can see, it could be dead. You know,
and why did they label it senior? Ain't nobody senior in there.
Well, most of it's done by the seniors. That's what they're trying to push.
The seniors, okay. I'm thinking like seniors
in high school.
Okay, I'm thinking senior citizens. I was about to say, I ain't seen no old people or anything.
No, senior high school seniors.
Okay, I got you.
This is what they do before they graduate.
Okay, understandable.
And I just want to know, you haven't heard of it before, correct?
No,
maybe, you know,
I agree.
Never heard of it before. Well,
no, never heard of it.
Something to be concerned about, because it could lead to what has happened to this young man, because apparently the father must have feared for his life and his safety. It's just sad. It's one of the situation. It's sad. Okay, as we move, is there any comments that we need to
yes, Uncle Hanif said watch out for the lightning bolt.
The lightning bolt?
Yeah, is it supposed to be thunder and lightning?
The lightning.
I don't know. We might have been talking about something, maybe about The Office. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
And then he also said, "True. She is a prep person. Yes, she is. She stays prepared at all times." And then Dot said, "Too many people are gun happy." Yeah, you know. And I wonder what state. Did it say what state they're in?
They probably did, but I didn't. I just was looking on a national level.
Oh, okay, yeah, because if it's, you know, if you're in the state that you know that people are licensed to carry, I advise you not to be.
Yeah, like
you shouldn't be doing it anyway. But that
Florida
part,
and all them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Uncle Hanif said, "That's funny. You thought it was senior citizens. I did too. That was like 20 minutes ago when she was talking about she don't fall asleep no more." Oh. Yeah, I just let her say that because we be on the phone and she do it. Breaking news.
I'm not as bad anymore.
No.
You know, I'm kind of, more. Why your eyes? No. I'm done. I'm done. But you know what? I guess for me, when you wake up in the morning and you're constantly trying to put out fires and trying to do all you can do, and you're only one person, it could be a little overwhelming. Not complaining.
Yeah, I understand.
Understandable. Not complaining. Just could be overwhelming. So as we move on, this is something I thought you would need to pay attention to, because maybe one day you might think about taking your sons. And now chaos under fire. There's a big tiger that breaks loose into a crowd at a circus.
At the circus.
Yes, and that has happened more than once. That this, not this same tiger, but tigers got loose, or animals
in
got
general.
loose and got in the crowd, and I'm like, I can't imagine. Now it got me thinking second thought, because I did want to go to one of the circus.
Universal Soul Circus.
Yes,
the Universal. Yeah.
But then I'm
Yeah,
like,
that looks like fun, but I would want to sit next to the exit, all the way in the back.
sure enough. But guess what? When the
because
tiger got loose, guess where he went? Toward
to
the
the
exit.
Oh wow.
And I know you'll be screaming and running down.
Lord Jesus.
You've been lost your living mind.
Scoop up the kids. Let's go. Let's go.
And never return
Never.
again.
Never, no.
No, never return again. I mean, it's a scary thing. So I do want to share this clip of what took place, because I thought, and I'm sure you will have second thoughts about this.
I don't like animals like that. So going to a zoo,
wild
to me,
animals.
I don't like regular animals either like that. So not really. Cats.
You like cats?
I like cats, but I ain't got one. I had one and he had to go.
Oh, poor kitty.
Yeah, dogs. I ain't really too fond of them either. So no, I'm okay.
Poor kitty.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to show you this video. Hold tight.
And suddenly, a tiger is running through the audience. A dangerous incident occurred during a circus performance in Russia when, according to the circus director, the safety net surrounding the ring came loose due to an employee error. As a result, 3 wild cats panicked, and one of the tigers jumped into the audience area. The incident occurred during the show and immediately caused great commotion among the audience. Several visitors hurriedly left their seats, while others remained seated in shock, watching the events unfold. Circus staff reacted immediately and attempted to regain control of the animal and guide it back into the secure area. After a short time, they finally managed to capture the tiger. No one was injured.
Now, would that stop you from going to see?
First of all, when that net started coming down, we would have been at the door anyway. Because this can't be a part of the show, ma'am. So they just was still sitting there. It was only one guy that got up with his kid. So that was a little bit, but it was over in Russia. So maybe they have a different caliber. I don't know, maybe wild turkeys and wild tigers walk around there. Yes, maybe that's normal.
You bring that to Philly or New York.
No, absolutely not.
Folks would have been out there screaming. It'd have been a totally different outcome.
Absolutely.
It would have been a totally different outcome. Oh my goodness. It just
Aunt Dot laughing. She said bye. Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you. It makes you think when you go to even a zoo.
Yeah. Because we took the kids to the zoo. And they seen the tiger, but the tigers was enclosed in glass. Like it was not net, it wasn't no net. Like the net was like the bird, like certain birds and monkeys and stuff. But like the actual like wild tigers and all that was like netted. Now I will say I have been on a drive-through safari. And that's majority of those animals you can only see from afar. Like they're not coming towards your car, except for them giraffes. They walk in front of your car.
Oh, really? I haven't been in years.
They walk in front of your car.
Wow.
So that's a little bit scary. But other than that, like the other animals, like they're so far off, you can when you get there, they have you put on a station so that you can hear about the different animals you're passing by. But it's literally like the hippos and everything else, they're not close enough to do anything except for them giraffes.
Except for the giraffes. Okay.
Yeah, they can step right on your car. You wouldn't even. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Crazy.
Miss Barbara said Philly audience would have unalived that animal. Everybody got a weapon.
You know that it would not. If the turnout would have been different between people running and people trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, and their kids. Yeah.
Yeah, you know it.
Big difference.
But all people in that audience, they was sitting all calm and relaxed.
They was just chilling. The old people was even sitting there like, I ain't getting up.
Yeah, different audience
Absolutely
for sure.
not. Yeah,
different audience for sure. I wanted to shift gears a little bit, and I do have a topic that I want to talk about that is going viral. But before we talk about that, I do want to talk about Elon Musk, the brain chip in 2026, the future of the mind, or a step too far. Now, it's helping a lot of people who otherwise would not be able to communicate. So I do want to share, because I know a lot of people are not going to, obviously, for obvious reasons, they're not going to want to participate in his study. But he is looking for takers who are interested in having a chip installed. I know that's something that we wouldn't want to do, but let me just see, is this the video that I wanted to showcase? I think it is, so hold tight.
Japanese is being described as a game changer. The chip is being trialled internationally and allows patients to control and manipulate laptops and other devices with the power of their mind.
It's a massive change in your life where you can suddenly no longer move any of your limbs, and this kind of technology kind of gives you a new piece of hope.
Though he's paralysed from the neck down, Sebastian Gomez Pena can now control his laptop and phone using just his mind.
Everyone in my position tries to move some bit of their body to see if there is any form of recovery. But now I think about moving my hand to the right, to the left, think about clicking my fingers, and the technology just understands what I want to do, and it does it. Yep.
You wouldn't even know the chip was there until it needs a daily charge.
If you hold it to my head right there, this means this is how you charge it.
So I'm charging the chip.
That is exactly what you're doing.
A keen rugby player and musician, Seb had just finished his first term at medical school when he made one ill-judged dive off a boat on holiday.
When I dived, I hit the floor and hit my head, and alongside breaking my neck, also broke my front two teeth. And yeah, that's how I started.
But it ended up with Seb enrolling in the first UK trial of the Neuralink device, a 5-hour operation performed largely by robot, which, through a hole in his skull, inserted threads 1/10 the thickness of a human hair, connecting 1,000 electrodes to the part of his brain that controls hand movements.
It makes the experience a lot better.
This is the first time his doctors have seen him since the device was switched on.
That's brilliant. This technology is going to be a game changer for patients with severe neurological disability. And those patients have very little really to improve their independence.
Neuralink, which allowed us to access the trial but didn't want to be interviewed, now confirmed 21 people have been fitted with the device, including 7 in the UK. Some users are able to train the AI that interprets their brain signals to type on a virtual keyboard, even control a robotic arm, or just played with their children.
Oh, you smoke, man.
The company's controversial founder promises even more.
As we advance the Neuralink devices, you should be able to actually have full body control and sensors from an Optimus robot. So you could basically inhabit an Optimus robot. The future is going to be weird, but pretty cool.
Weird, and with it, serious questions about future users' safety and privacy, but a way off. Neuralink still needs to do larger trials and share its data with the public to prove these devices are safe and effective long term. Elon Musk, whatever you think of him, does have a record of success. But in this endeavour, He depends on brave, determined volunteers like Seb to deliver it.
You don't know what.
Well, there you have it. So now we have a situation where a lot of people are signing up for it, believe it or not, because it's good for others. It may not be so good for those who feel that are against, modern technology or the AI technology. But the gentleman was able to communicate more.
And even one was even playing with his kid, which is amazing. I
Yeah.
feel like technology has taken on, I like, even just thinking 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, just how much it has advanced, and it does have its advantages as far as being for good. But I also, with technology, the hackers, what does
Yeah.
that mean for getting hacked? Like, am I going to take over your mind and now you're going to transfer $1 million? And you know what I'm saying? Like, it just leaves it up to a lot of questions for a lot of people. But for those that need it and they want to take that risk of it, I don't know how I would feel charging my brain or whatever, however way they was about, what they were doing. That seems,
Yeah.
a lot. But you don't ever find out the repercussions of something until it's been 20, 30 years, and say if your eyeball fell out and you lost your teeth after doing this, call this number. You may have a lawsuit. You don't never hear anything until then. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, so we're going to change gears because I know everybody, was talking about, I'm sure you heard about President Trump. Washington, D.C. dinner ends abruptly, which I'm going to show the video. And many of you already know exactly what transpired. They did an arrest, but let me just share this with you.
Investigation into the gunman's motives is just beginning. D.C. police will be handling this investigation.
Our Jacqueline Quinn is live now outside the Washington Hilton. Jackie, what are you learning about how this all unfolded and what we can expect next?
Yeah, that's what investigators are looking to right now, how the suspect got so close to the ballroom inside of the Washington Hilton here. We're still seeing some of their presence around here on Connecticut. I can tell you that Connecticut portions of it are closed off, headed towards the hotel here. But certainly it was police that may have helped to stop this from becoming more deadly. What was supposed to be a night celebrating the free press quickly turned into chaos. Gunfire erupting just outside the ballroom, sending hundreds diving for cover.
I was watching to see what was happening. We were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick.
President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were rushed off stage as Secret Service agents moved in. Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin says he arrived just a few minutes before the chaos started.
Someone threw me to the ground, and it was a Secret Service agent, and I landed on top of some other people. And then we were on the ground for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then people began to get up. And then the word just began to spread that there had been someone who tried to enter the room who had been shot by the Secret Service. And that, when people heard the shots, that's when everybody started screaming to get down, and the Secret Service started, throwing people to the ground.
Police say the suspect, 31-year-old Cole Allen of California, was armed with multiple weapons and is believed to have acted alone. A Secret Service agent was hit, but protected by a bulletproof vest and is expected to recover. Investigators also say the suspect had no prior criminal record and that layers of security were in place.
This is a multi-layer approach. The point of this checkpoint is to intercept individuals that were there, and what we see in this case is when he reached that checkpoint, Secret Service agents and law enforcement engaged him immediately.
That rapid response preventing what could have been far worse.
This individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could. And thankfully, because of the checkpoint right outside the ballroom, where thousands of people were situated to hear the President of the United States. Because that checkpoint worked, there was no one who was injured when it was clear where this defendant was going.
Again, this suspect is in custody. As you heard earlier, he's neutralized, he's alive, but police are still working this investigation, trying to figure out why he did this, a motive for this. For now, back to you guys.
Right.
That was crazy. And you know what the craziest thing is? I don't remember them having a dinner with something like this have ever happened. I could be wrong, but it seems
Yeah.
like a lot goes on with this. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
always
mean,
something.
it's always something. So you just continue to pray for the nation as a whole and hope. Well, not even hope, because you have to have faith that things are going to turn around eventually. It's just keeping that faith that God is going to keep us protected, and just pray for the nation, because I mean, it's something every week. I don't know. It's just something
Every
always
day.
going. It's something always going on. So it's unfortunate. And these are times that I've never seen anything like this. Um, so it's just, even with his previous, presidency, it was what it was, but it wasn't. I feel like it doubled down. Like he just
Yeah, double, yeah.
came in with a vengeance, and but you know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not. It's
crazy.
just, you gotta make sure that you stay prayed up. That's all.
True.
Mhm.
Well, this next topic went viral. I mean, and it should have went viral. Okay. When bias wears a badge, where do we draw the line between personal beliefs and professional responsibility? Um, all of us been hearing about the young lady, Ashley Gonzalez, who went on a rant on social media and just, I'm not going to play that video. I'm really not going to play that video. You can type in Ashley Gonzalez if you want to hear the things that she stated, but I will play a video including her arrest and things that had transpired afterwards. But just to give you a synopsis about Ashley Gonzalez, apparently she felt comfortable enough. And from my understanding, I believe it might have been even a private post. It wasn't something that should have been or was intended to be shared with, the media. But somehow someone recorded the video and shared it with a news outlet, and that's how it went viral. And since then, she's a police officer for Houston. Since then, she's lost her job, and they want to see that she loses her certification as a police officer, because if she's still certified, she can go anywhere and get a job. The sad part is now people are trying to put out the word about Latinos against Blacks. No, we need to cut that out. We need to cut that short right now, because that is not a thing. This is only about Ashley Gonzalez. She does not represent the Latino community at all, by far. At least not any of the Latinos that I know. I know the Latinos that I know, they don't, at least I've never heard anything like that. I mean, we get down. So I'm shocked. I'm not shocked, because it can happen to any nationality, any ethnic race can have racism. We have colorism within our own culture. But when you get to a point where you are a police officer and you're a professional and you're supposed to be protecting your community, and you out here arresting people just because of the color of their skin, she needs to be federal. She needs to be charged. They need to open up all the cases that she's ever had any dealings with, and they need to open them up and investigate all those cases, because she definitely was not good. She wasn't good. And for her to feel comfortable enough to say that she was a Marine and speaking to other Marines, and then she's going to the police department and speaking to other police officers, ain't no telling how many more is like that. But I'm sure they must have to distance themselves from her at this point. If not, they're going to lose their license, lose their opportunity, and lose their employment as well. But let me just share this clip real quick. It's disgusting.
Police officer Ashley Gonzalez has been fired.
The police chief dismissed her earlier this afternoon. Now, this all unfolded after she posted a racist rant online that disturbed the community and the department. Megan Reyna is live outside police headquarters with what the chief is saying about this decision. Megan.
Well, Police Chief Noe Diaz says that her behavior was entirely unacceptable, that it has no place in this community, let alone the department. Now, many people were wondering, why wasn't she fired immediately? Well, police here did have to give her due process. They had to follow state law by fully investigating. In most cases, an internal investigation takes weeks, sometimes months. This one was fast-tracked to take just days. This all started when Gonzalez posted on Instagram a video of her using a racial slur more than 20 times. At one point, she said she, quote, hated black people. Gonzalez was then relieved of duty on Monday and is now fired. But this doesn't mean she is stripped of her Texas peace officer license. We spoke with retired Houston Police Captain Greg Freeman. He says the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement would have that authority.
Without a criminal conviction or something of that type of nature, she'll still have a state certification. But I suspect that there will be a huge outcry to certain political entities within Austin to look at this very closely, because is there a possibility she could be hired by another agency? Absolutely, there could be. What agency would do that? I don't know.
Gonzalez can also appeal her firing, but Freeman told me he believes this case is cut and dry, that he's confident HPD did everything to make sure if she did appeal, it would be unsuccessful. But the calls for action aren't over from activists. Of course, they wanted her fired, but just this afternoon, the Houston chapter of the NAACP released a statement asking that the police chief here release all of her arrest records. Coming up at 6, we'll have more on the reaction to this arrest. Reporting live downtown, Megan Reyna, KHOU 11 News.
Not all of...
There you have it. I'm sure you've seen it previously too, Shakira, because it's been all on social media.
I did see bits and pieces of it. It's very unfortunate, but it's one of them things you will never get rid of. All of the races, people in different professions. You have racism amongst doctors, nurses, all of the things. So, and it's kind of one of them things that I think they need to take a closer look at people's social media accounts. They're so busy trying to do background checks and criminal checks, but they need to also check your mind. Meaning, what are you putting on social media? And your social media should be open to the public. You should not be able to, and this is just my opinion, if you are a police officer, I don't think you should be allowed to have a private social media. Why? Because you can get on there and say whatever, and it'd be your.
No, they need to have one so they can say whatever, so you know who they really are.
No, I get that, but I'm saying you would deter people because people are who they are.
Had she not had a social media platform, we might not have never known this is who she was.
No, that's what I'm saying, that they need to, but I'm pretty sure this is not the first time of her saying this type of stuff on her social media. If they were to look back at her accounts.
Yeah,
I don't feel that you just, I mean, I'm not a racist individual, but I feel like that is embedded in your bones. It's not something that, yeah, you can hide it at work. Behavior. Yeah, it's a taught behavior, but I'm saying that you can only fake it but so much. And if you feel as though that, you know, I'm signing up for a job and I've had my social media for I don't know how long. I've went back and I've never said anything racist or anything, but certain things that I'm like, you know what, I don't want to have that on there. So let me go ahead and erase it. But I feel as though that it needs to be very public. It needs to, you know, people need to be evaluated. But it's kind of like if they know that they are, this is, I don't know. It's a hard thing because how can you pick up on some if they're trying to hide it and they're going
let them
for
have
job
social
interview.
media so you can find out who they really are. This is a good thing. Let them all have social media. And
No,
I know,
I'm saying as far as being private, it couldn't be. You can't have a private account and don't want to expose that. If you are somebody that's trying, I think teachers, you know, they
you say
might
you
be
don't
on
think
there.
they should have a social media platform?
No, I'm saying they should have it. I just think it should be open to the public People
Oh,
will
okay, yeah.
get, they will have social medias, but make it private. And
Well,
then
see, she might have had it
it'll
private, but one of her friends probably turned her. I think it was one of her friends turned her in,
yeah. But that's what
allegedly.
I'm saying. If it's a public thing, for you will be more mindful on what you say. But at the end of the day, you were not going to be able to get rid of all the people that are racist, that are cops, lawyers, doctors. It's just, you just have to, pray that they come up with a system that will be able to kind of get them out of there. But I mean, it is what, it's
Yeah.
when you go for a job interview, you hire somebody. They don't be like, you know what, I'm late at my last job. I was late 15 times in 1 month. They don't say that. So in an interview, they're not going to say, I don't like black people. They're not going to display any of that, even along while you're working. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of hard to kind of figure that part out, which is
Well,
unfortunate. But
I'm glad this happened, so that those who are in the Houston area that have been exposed to her type of her behavior can at least have an
get justice.
opportunity, if they've had some interaction with her, been arrested, or can hopefully get their case at least
Overturned.
reevaluated and
Yeah,
reinvestigated to see whether there is any
absolutely.
conflict.
Yeah. And I do that. The main part about it, that they didn't say this in here, but a lot of times when cops are found to be doing something inappropriately, they are still paid. They are still being able to walk away with their, their just due. Like, and it's just like, well, I was about to retire anyway. Bye. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Especially if they
I don't
get
think
paid,
that's
they're on
right.
vacation.
Yeah, they're on vacation. So I just feel as that different things like that, we're not going to be able to get rid of every racist person and all of that, but just making sure that it's not just a slap on the wrist and it's just like, well, whatever. Like, we have to make sure that part is upstanding.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think it's just hard to hear when someone goes in on you like the way that she did. Because to look at her, you would never think that, right? To look at her, you would never think that. At least I would never think that if I was to see her. I would never think that she was like that. But looks are deceiving. Looks are very deceiving. Okay, so I think we have oh, that was okay.
Yeah, I read those. There's no new comments.
Okay. I didn't see that one. All right. Oh, hey, Dorothy. Thank you so much for joining, Dottie. Thank everybody for joining. I appreciate it. We do both appreciate you. Our next topic that we want to cover, it has a lot to do with all of us, those who are employed, whether you are an employee or a general contractor. We gotta stay woke in this workforce being quietly redefined. While they were on vacation, they were still meeting and pushing this HR 1319. I don't know whether anyone is aware of what that really means. But before we do that, I wanted to share um, this information, and I'll post it if it's interesting to anyone, about how many days our senators, Congress, and representatives work. For an example, they are on vacation more than they work. On vacation more than they work. For an example, I don't know if you can see the month of April here. Okay, if you can see the month of April, what's in blue is what they work, and what's in red is when they're off. Okay, what's in blue is what they work, and what's in red is the days that they have off. For an example, this month is 30 days, and out of 30 days, they worked 14 days. Next month in May, it's 31 days. And out of 31 days, they will be working 11 days. And one of those days is a holiday, but they'll be working 11 days. Okay. Now, the one that gets me in August, They're going to be, it's 31 days in August. They're going to be working 4 days in August. So one of the things that I do want to share with each of you as it relates to this 1319 bill that is trying to pass. Let me just try to pull this up if I can. Let me just take this down. Oh, just one second. Have you heard of the 1319 bill, Shakira?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay. You haven't. Okay, it's actually what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to pass a bill so that those who are employees, if you are an employee, they want to convert and for a person to be a general contractor, so they don't have to pay as many benefits. So I do want to share this real quick if I can get this opened, and please bear with me as I share this information. The HR 1319, known as the Modern Worker Empowerment Act, is a proposed bill that aims to redefine workers are classified, making it easier for companies to label individuals as independent contractors instead of employees. While it hasn't passed yet, many believe it could significantly shift financial responsibilities from employers to worker, impacting benefits, protections, and how people earn and manage their income. Are you able to see this?
Yes, I can see
HR.
it.
Okay, so what I want to do real quickly before we sign off, I want to actually go over what's the difference between an employee versus independent contract when it comes down to a pay. So I'm going to use an example of a person making $50,000 a year, $50,000 a year. And I'm going to take the first part I'm going to take is if they're an employee, what does the employer, your boss, what are their responsibilities versus if you were a general contractor? Okay, now $50,000 a year annually, it's going to be giving you a pay of $961.54 a week. Now, this is starting point for both scenarios. Okay, both scenarios getting the same pay. Now, as far as an employee, as an employer, they must pay Social Security, which is 6.2%. Okay, this has nothing to do with your 50,000. This is what your employer pays. Okay, they have to pay Social Security, which is 6.2%. They have to pay Medicare, which is 1.45%. And they have to pay federal and state unemployment, which is approximately somewhere around $1,000. Okay, but the Social Security and the Medicare, those are mandatory, and those are from state to state. It doesn't change. If you're in Florida, you pay the same amount. If you're in Mississippi, Alabama, it doesn't matter. It's state to state. 6.2% Social Security, 1.45% Medicare. Okay. Now, additional business costs. Once you have a certain amount of employees, you have to have workers' compensation. Is mandatory, right? Health insurance, some of them offer it, but if you have a certain amount of employees, you have to have insurance. 401k, some of them will match your 401k. If they don't, you can still have the benefit of having a 401k account. And you have paid time off, like vacation and sick pay. And then they also, most of them will provide you with your equipment, such as your computer, your mouse, or your laptop, whatever you need in order to work. Your employer would mostly supply that if you are an employee. Now, with $50,000, what it's really costing an employer is approximately between $62,000 to $70,000. Okay, so it is costing between $12,000 to $20,000 in addition to the $50,000 that they're paying you. So that means if you are working at a company that have thousands and thousands of employees, you got to figure that that employer is paying anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, if not more, for having you employed. Now, as an independent contractor, on the other hand, that $50,000, the employer doesn't have to pay Social Security match. They don't have to pay Medicare, unemployment tax. They don't have to provide insurance, 401k. They don't have to give you time off, any equipment. They don't have to supply any of those things. So they're going to save all that money. So as a general contractor, the only thing they got to pay is that $50,000. Now, the employer cost comparison, the $50,000, which would be the base pay for each, but they're going to be paying at least close to $20,000 more just for having an employee. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to push this 1319 bill, so that they can be able to redefine what an employee looks like versus a general contractor. Similar to what they did when they snatched the professional titles away from the nurses and all the other titles that was holding a professional career title, how they snatched that. Now they're redefining this. Now the employer saves thousands of dollars. Worker takes on full taxes, meaning if you are a general contractor, you have to pay your own taxes. You get no benefit. You get no protection. Now that's going to hurt a lot of families, if this bill is passed. Okay. Employee benefits. What is all covered with a lot of these employers? Some of them give you salary and hourly wages. They give you overtime, bonuses, commissions, holidays. They give you profit sharing. Some of them do hazardous pay, shift officiation, and hourly holiday. I know many people get hourly holiday pay holidays. Sick pays, personal days, holiday, bereavements, paternity leave. Most of them will cover paternity leave, and then the state will pick up some weeks. Jury duty, if you have to be called for jury duty, military leave, floating holidays. These are all the things that your employer, a lot of the employers cover: health insurance, dental insurance, vision, life insurance, disability insurance, mental health insurance, wellness programs, gym membership discounts. These are the things that employees receive: 401k benefits, pension plans, stock options, deferred compensation plans. You get my drift, right? You understand why a lot of the employers are fighting, the bigger corporations are fighting for this bill to pass, because they will be able to save roughly around $30,000 per employee. But the employee will be stuck paying for all these benefits out of their wages, out of the general contractors' wages that they receive. Okay. Now, as an employee, you get the company equipment, the laptop and phone. None of that would be existing anymore. Uniforms, work gear, paid training certificates, tuition, reimbursement, licensing fees covered. Some employers cover that. Other related things, a company car. I know a lot of people get company car and car allowances, travel and reimbursement, child care assistance, flexible work schedule, remote work options, housing allowance in some roles. Okay. And also, as an extra perk, you can get sign-on bonuses, retention bonuses, referral bonuses, employee discounts, free meals, snacks, company events, and retreats. But guess what? All that will go away if this bill is passed. So that 1319 bill, they're working to pass that. If they should pass that, I can already tell you what that's going to look like. They're going to send you a notice and say, effective on this day, you will no longer be considered as an employee. You'll be considered as a general contractor. And that's how they normally do it. They may not fire you or try to get rid of your position, but they would transfer the pay structure and how you get paid. And this is a bill that when they were on vacation, they was behind the scene working this bill out. So please be aware of this and pay close attention. because this would not be a good thing. Imagine if you're making $50,000 and you have to pay all these bills. Your health insurance alone coming off that $50,000. It could be devastating to a lot of families. Anything you want to add on, Shakira?
No, that's just really sad, unfortunate. Hopefully it doesn't go through.
I hope it don't either, because I'm like, I can't even fathom, I can't even imagine something like that happening. I really can't. I can't imagine something like that happening. But we must be aware, so we wanted to share it. So for those of you who are employees, please be aware. Any last comments you want to say, Shakira, before we sign off?
No, everybody just have a good week and be nice to someone you don't know what they're going through. That's all.
Yes, please be nice. Please be nice. Let's cover these real quickly, Plum, if you don't mind. Those things that you wrote.
This one is a 60-day SOAP Bible journal, daily scripture, observation, application, and prayer.
Yes.
So that's a Bible journal. And it gives you more insight on scripture. This one is a 2026 prayer and scripture journal, 365 days for you to be able to journal and document your journey of journaling.
Yes. And journaling. And the last but not least,
Rooted in Faith, God's Promise for Every Emotion, a devotional guide and journal. So it talks about healing, anxiety, doubt, any type of emotions that you may be going through. It has a scripture tied to it for you to be able to work through it.
yes, absolutely. We want to say thank everyone for joining us on another episode of, oh, my phone just tore up. Look at this. I don't even know. What the heck? It just fell apart. I'll be having so many problems out of phone not ringing, text messages getting. This is crazy. Now I'll be at the phone place in the morning because I sure don't know how to fix it. This just happened. Oh, brother. Anyway, God bless everyone. Thank y'all so
Yes,
much
God
for
bless everybody.
tuning in to another episode of Mama Said. I can't even believe this happened. Oh, boy. Anyway, any last words you want to say, Shakira, before we sign off?
No, just everybody have a good week.
Yes, please, everyone have a good week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of of Mama Said It podcast. Do anybody out there know how to fix a phone? All right, y'all take care. Do something different today that you didn't do yesterday to change your tomorrow. Take care, everybody.